Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Health Sciences, SOHS. Certificate in General Duty Assistance, CGDA. BHT 002 Basic Needs of Patient Care. Block 1 Patient Hygiene. Unit 2 Bathing Procedures and Guideline. 2.0 Objectives. At the end of this unit you should be able to define personal hygiene. Explain different types of bath. Discuss the role of a GDA in providing bath to a patient. Describe disinfection procedure of items used for bathing. And demonstrate post-bath procedures. 2.1 Introduction. Personal hygiene refers to maintaining cleanliness of one's body and clothing to preserve overall health and well-being. Personal hygiene involves a number of activities like bathing, washing hands, cleaning teeth, changing into clean clothes etc. There are a number of circumstances that may affect an individual's ability to maintain personal hygiene. Hospitalized patients, and in particular those who are bedridden, may become dependent on someone else to carry out their hygiene needs. Assisting patients to maintain personal hygiene is a fundamental aspect of hospital and home care. The patient's level of energy, the patient's level of cognition, and the patient's overall level of health are also factors that can both positively and negatively impact on the patient's hygiene practices and routines. When patients require help to maintain their personal hygiene, it is always important to schedule this care according to their preference of time. Bathing is considered as a self-care, but some sick patients may need assistance to get it done as they are not in a condition to carry out themselves. Self-care patients can carry out their bathing by themselves, whereas partial care patients can be taken to bathrooms where they need some assistance with body areas that are difficult to reach. Complete care. Patients require full assistance with all aspects of bathing. In those cases, a complete bed bath is given at the bedside, or the patient can be wheeled to bathroom for bathing. 2.2 Qualities of a person. WHO provides personal hygiene to a patient. Wear a clean, pressed uniform, clean shoes, and your name badge in accordance with your employer's policies. Bathe or shower, shampoo your hair and brush your teeth regularly. Keep your nails short, filed smooth, free of polish, and clean. This helps to prevent accidental scratches when you are providing care, and is also important for infection control. Keep your hair neatly styled and pulled back from your face. Keep facial hair trimmed and neat. Try to select a uniform style that will cover tattoos if it is possible. Don't use excessive makeup. Don't wear excessive fragrance or perfume. 2.3 Type of baths. There are mainly two types of bath, which are in follows: routine cleansing bath and therapeutic bath. 2.3.1 Routine cleansing bath. Cleansing baths are routine patient care baths given to maintain daily personal hygiene. Types of cleansing bath. 1. Complete bed bath. A complete bed bath is one that is given in the bed to the patient by a GDA or another member of the healthcare team like a patient care technician. 2. Partial bath. A partial bed bath is one that is given in the bed, like the complete bed bath, but the patient only needs the assistance of the GDA or another member of the healthcare team. The patient themselves is able to perform some or most of the bathing tasks. For example, the hospital staff member may only have to collect and present the patient with the necessary supplies and equipment or wash the patient's back. 3. Self-help bath. Self-help bath does not require any assistance from hospital staff, whereas bathroom bath can be taken by patient himself, but GDA needs to be present for assistance. 4. Bathroom bath. 5. Tub bath. A tub bath is a bath that the patients are usually able to take themselves, but they may still need assistance, such as getting in or out of the tub or shower, so it is important for the hospital staff member to be available and present to help the patient as needed. 2.3.2 Therapeutic bath. Following are the types of therapeutic bath. 1. Sits bath given for decreasing pain and inflammation after perineal surgery or to relieve pain in case of hemorrhoids. A tub is used and the patient is asked to step into the tub. The bottom part is soaked into the hot water for 15 to 20 minutes to relieve pain and congestion. 2.4 Importance and purpose of bathing. Bathing is an important intervention to promote hygiene and comfort. It refreshes and relaxes, eliminates body odor, removes dirt, oils and dead skin cells, and stimulates blood flow, circulation, through the body. Good blood flow to the skin helps to keep the skin healthy. A back rub, which is often provided as part of the bath, stimulates blood flow to the skin as well. It is always necessary to ask about the person's choice of bathing. The purposes of bath are to remove transient microorganisms, to remove body secretions, to remove dead skin cells, to stimulate blood circulation, to promote a feeling of well-being, to enhance self-esteem, to eliminate bad odor, to relieve fatigue and induce sleep. 2.5 Various types of washing. A principle which is being used during patient care is called cleanest to dirtiest. It says that always starts with clean area and move towards more dirty area. If done otherwise you tend to bring more infection to the cleaner areas. For example, face is cleaned first before chest and abdomen. Eyes are cleaner and cleaned first before moving to other areas of face. Perineum, area between thighs, is cleaned last after cleaning all other parts of the body. 2.5.1 Need for care to private body parts of patient. Some body parts need special attention like perineum care, skin folds like between female breast and abdomen, between buttocks and genital care. For men, perineal care is done with the bed bath, shower or tub bath and it is done more often for patients affected with incontinence and diaphoresis. For example, special perineal care is given to patients with an indwelling urinary catheter. These private parts of body should be thoroughly clean dry. The patient can do it himself, herself able to do so. 2.6 Prerequisites of bath, based on the patient condition and comfort. Before deciding type of bath, assess the patient's ability to perform their activities such as personal hygiene, mobility, ambulation, toileting, personal care and hygiene, grooming, dressing, and eating. E.g., some patients will not prefer taking bath on a bed, some will prefer bath before eating breakfast etc. A bath is always decided according to patient's comfort and convenience. The following are the prerequisite preparation for bathing procedure. 2.6.1 Appropriate water temperature. Bathing should be a comfortable and soothing activity for a person. Temperature of bathing water should not be very cold or too hot. Check the temperature of water with the help of your own skin. If a thermometer is available, check with thermometer and it should be 46 degrees Celsius. If the person is able to check for the temperature, he can decide the water temperature by making patient to touch the water. Look at the screen. 2.6.2 Supplies needed for a cleansing bed bath. The following supplies are needed for a cleansing bed bath. Fig. 2.2. Fig. 2.3. Fig. 2.4. A trolley to collect all articles needed. Fig. 2.2. Trolley used to carry bathing items. 2 jugs to keep hot water and cold water. A basin. 2 mitt clothes, wash clothes. Fig. 2.3. A mitt cloth, wash cloth. Soap with its dish. A small towel to dry. A bath blanket. Bed sheets to change after bath. Clothes like pajama or gown. Disposable gloves. Bed pan and urinal. Adult diaper if required. B. Lotions or creams to apply after bath. C. A laundry bag. 2.7 Guideline of bathing procedure. For cleaning purpose. 2.7.1 Guidelines for assisting a patient from bed to bath and back. Assess the patient and talk to the patient about bed bath. Plan your care according to the assessment. Check for the items available. Prepare a trolley for gathering all items needed. Ask again for patient's comfort and his ability to contribute. Provide him bedpan, urinal before start with bathing. Always ask for help from a second person if needed. Take care of privacy. Close all windows and curtains. Explain procedure. If the patient is able to take bath inside bathroom, assist him from bed to bathroom. 2.7.2 Assisting a person from bed to bathroom for self-help or assisted bath. If the person has been lying down in bed, allow her to sit on the edge of the bed with her feet out on the floor for at least 2 minutes. Before continuing, some dizziness is common when a person sits up after being in bed for a while. See if the dizziness passes in 2 minutes. If it does not pass, if it gets worse, if she becomes sweaty or short of breath, or if she is in any pain, help the person to lie back down and report your observations to the nurse. Help the person put on the bath towel and footwear. Put the transfer belt on the person. If necessary, help the person to stand up, stand facing the person, and either grasp the transfer belt on the back side of her waist with your palms up, or, if you are not using a transfer belt, put your arms underneath the person's arms and place your hands on her shoulder blades. Place your toes against the person's toes and bend your knees so that they rest against, or near, her knees. Have the person lean forward, toward you. Tell the person that on the count of 3 he can push down on the bed or chair with his hands while you assist him to a standing position. On the count of 3, straighten your legs, helping to lift the person to a standing position. If the person is using an assistive device for walking, make sure it is positioned properly. If the person is using a walker, it should be positioned directly in front of him. If the person uses a cane, make sure he is holding it in the hand opposite his weak leg. Stand slightly behind the person on the person's weaker side. Grasp the transfer belt on the back side of the person's waist, with your palms up. Starting on the same foot as the person, walk on her weaker side and a little behind. Tub, shower chair and other instruments as needed to be cleaned after use. Before giving a shower bath, close the windows or turn up the heat to keep the room warm while giving the bath. Fill the basin with warm water. The temperature of the water should not be higher than 115 degrees Fahrenheit, 46 degrees Celsius, using a bath thermometer. If you do not have a bath thermometer, it should be comfortably warm to your elbow. The water will cool to a lower temperature by the time it touches the person's body. Put the soft blanket over the top sheet that is covering the person. Pull back the top sheet to keep it from getting wet. Help remove the person's clothes. The blanket will keep the person warm and give him privacy. During the bath, keep the person covered with the blanket as much as possible. Plan the care. Talk to patient how he can help with bathing. Close windows, doors and curtains. Bring trolley to bedside. Ask patient for bedpan or urinal. Then wash hands after removing your ornaments. Raise bed. Loosen top clothes and remove. Place the blanket over the patient and then remove top sheet. Place soiled linen in the laundry bag. Assist the patient with oral hygiene. Remove the patient's gown slowly and keep the bath blanket in place in order to avoid exposure unnecessarily. Warm water having 43 to 46 degrees Celsius. Fold the washcloth and make a flat mitten. As you have learned that we should do cleaning from cleanest to dirtiest. Keeping this principle in mind, the first part to be cleaned is face. Wet the washcloth without soap. Gently wipe one eyelid by wiping from the inner corner of the eye to the outer corner. Dry the eyelid with a towel. Rinse the washcloth in the water. Wash and dry the other eyelid. Start from eye and complete one side of face. Rinse the cloth, then repeat the other side. Complete face, neck and ears. Using a mild soap. Wash the face, neck, and ears. Rinse off the soap and dry the washed areas. Secondly, you have to clean upper arm and hands. Upper arm and hands. For cleaning upper arm and hands, put the towel under an arm. Wash the person's hand, arm, and underarm. Rinse off the soap and dry the arm well, especially under the arm. Wash, rinse, and dry the other hand and arm. Increase the pressure and apply firm strokes for upper arm, axilla. Rinse and dry the mitten cloth, washcloth. Hands can be washed with water using a small basin or tray. Chest, abdomen and umbilical area. Fold down the blanket to clean the chest and stomach, belly. Clean, rinse, and dry these areas. Cover the chest and stomach with the blanket. Lower bath blanket to umbilical area. Clean with wet mitten, washcloth, dry and rinse the cloth. Bring down the bath blanket to perineum area. Abdomen to be cleaned with firm strokes. Carefully clean the creases and folds of abdomen. Knee to groin. Place the bath blanket to chest. Now expose from below. Clean from ankle to knee. Knee to groin. Genitalia. If patient is able to do, then ask him, her to clarity genitalia. If patient is not able to do, take help from relatives and assist in perineal care, but ensure that it is cleaned thoroughly and dry. Foot. Remove the blanket from one of the legs and put a towel under the leg. Clean, rinse, and dry the foot and leg. Do the same to the other leg. Keep foot in a basin, wash, rinse and dry. Particular attention to areas between toes. Change water in between. Back. Turn the patient to side lying or back position. Expose only back and buttocks. Observe for cracks on the skin or for redness. Clean back and buttocks. Clean gluteal fold. Change water and the scarred washcloth and towel. Start cleaning perineum. Ask the person if he would like to have a back rub with the warmed lotion, oil. Completion. The scarred water and disposables used. Help the patient put on a clean cloth. Groom the patient with hair care. Change bed linens and document bathing time and vitals after bathing. Note, wear disposable gloves if the person has draining wounds. Empty the dirty water into the sink. Fill the basin with clean warm water whenever needed. 2.7.4 Privacy concerns, standard precautions during bath procedure, standard precautions for performing perineum care. Washing a woman's perineum. The perineum or the inner thigh is the last area to be washed. Wear disposable gloves before starting with care of this area. This area is also called the pubic area or genital area. It is the area between the thighs and includes the genitals and anus. Washing the perineum keeps away the body from smelling and becoming infected. Procedure of washing perineum. Empty the dirty water into the sink. Fill the basin with clean warm water. Fold the towel in half. Ask or help the woman to lift her buttocks. Put the towel under the buttocks. Ask the woman to bend her knees and spread her legs. With a soapy washcloth in one hand, separate the labia, lips of the vagina, with the other hand. Wash the labia from front to back. Do not touch the anus with the washcloth. Germs from the anus could get into the vagina and cause an infection. Rinse the washcloth and remove the soap from the perineum. It is important to remove all the soap because it can irritate the skin. Dry the area with a dry towel. Do not put powder on the perineum because the powder may harden. Wash the anus next. Ask the woman to turn onto her side so that she is facing away from you. Ask her to rise up her top leg. This will let you see and clean the skin around the anus. Slide the towel under the woman's buttocks. Use toilet paper or a paper towel to remove any visible stool that may be on the skin. You may need to wet the toilet paper or paper towel if the stool has dried. Throw the toilet paper or paper towel always in a trash bag. Wash, rinse, and dry the anal area. Discard water, wash clothes and gloves. Wash your hands. Washing a man's perineum. Empty the dirty water into the sink. Fill the basin with clean warm water. Ask or help the man to lie on his back. Fold the towel in half and put it under the man's buttocks. Ask the man to bend his knees slightly and spread his legs. Hold the penis with one hand. With the other hand, wash the tip of the penis with a soapy washcloth. Rinse the washcloth and remove the soap from the penis. If the man has a foreskin, gently push it back. The foreskin is the skin that covers the rounded end of the penis. Wash the end of the penis. Rinse the washcloth and remove the soap from the end of the penis. Using a soapy washcloth, wash the rest of the penis and the scrotum. The scrotum is the bag of skin that hangs under the penis. Rinse and dry well. The anus should be washed next. Ask the man to turn onto his side, with the top leg raised. This will let you see and clean the anal area easier. Fold the towel in half and put it under the man's buttocks. Use toilet paper or a paper towel to remove any visible stool that may be on the skin. You may need to wet the toilet paper or paper towel if the stool has dried. Throw the toilet paper or paper towel always in a trash bag. Wash, rinse, and dry the anal area. Discard water, washcloth and gloves. Wash your hands. 2.7.5 Bathing patients with skin lesion and rashes. Moisture-associated skin damage is common in bed-bound patients if not taken care of. It is caused by prolonged exposure to various sources of moisture like urine, stool, perspiration, wound exudate, mucosa and saliva. 2.7.6 Drying patient effectively to prevent skin breakdown. In order to prevent skin damage due to moisture-associated skin lesions, the caregiver has to pat dry or blot dry the patient gently and carefully, especially inside the skin folds. Clean the ear and nostril. The space between fingers to be cleaned to avoid moisture-associated skin lesions. 2.7.7 Post-bath procedure. Ensure the person's comfort and good body alignment. Adjust equipment for safety. Lower the bed to the level he can comfortably step up. Make sure the wheels on the bed are locked. Place the person's calling bell for help within reach. Lower or raise the side rails according to the need of the patient. Clean up your work area. Wash your hands. Report and record. 2.8 Cleaning and disinfection. Procedures. After completion of the procedure, some articles need cleaning while some articles need disinfection. Cleaning involves washing with soap and water. Disinfection is the process by which number of microorganisms are reduced by cleaning the articles with disinfectant agents like Dettol and bleach solution. Take the trolley to the washroom. Dispose of all used, disposable items. Disinfect the items with Dettol or bleach solution. Putting soiled linen in laundry bag. During and after the bed bath procedure, a lot of waste is generated. It's caregiver's responsibility to segregate for disposal. Patient's clothes should be handed over to the relatives or can be sent to laundry depot. For washing, the items which are being sent for laundering should be labeled with patient's name and room no. Hospital linen like bed sheets should not be thrown on the floor. It should be sent to hospital laundry depot. Disinfection of hands after procedure. After the procedure, dispose of gloves in the red bag and wash your hands properly. Document the care given along with time and date. 2.9 Post-bath procedures. Replace the patient's personal clothing and belongings. Change the bed linen. Remove the bath blanket and put it for washing. Ask the patient for his comfort and any other needs. Examine the fingernails and toenails. Refer to nail care. Comb and arrange hair. Refer to hair grooming. Make the patient in comfortable position with proper body alignment. Take all articles used to the utility room. Wash basins and wash clothes to be cleaned with soap and water. Arrange the articles at proper places for next use. Send soiled linen to the laundry. All furniture in the room should kept back in proper places. Wash hands and record the procedure. 2.9.1 Checking patient's skin after bathing. Patients who are sick and bed-bound can develop skin damage due to impaired circulation, emaciation, lowered vitality, obesity and edema. The skin contact with moisture for a period of time can lead to maceration of the skin. After giving bed bath to a patient, it is recommended that one should inspect patient's skin for redness, discoloration or blister on the pressure points. Check for direct pressure areas. Observe and report immediately any reddened, pale or darkened areas of the skin. Make sure the person is in good body alignment. Use appropriate positioning aids when needed. Use pressure-reducing devices, for example, pressure-reducing mattress, pads, heel and elbow protectors, as ordered to relieve pressure and protect skin. If the person uses hairpins or barrettes to style the hair, make sure these items are removed when the person's head is resting on a pillow, in order to prevent friction and shearing injuries. Take care of medical equipments from rubbing against the person's body. Make a tight, neat, wrinkle-free bed. Pad supportive devices, such as splints, ensure that shoes and socks out correctly. Check for skin changes under skin folds, especially under breasts and under the folds of skin on people who are overweight. Position the person so that air circulates around the person's arms and legs to keep skin from touching skin. Moisture-prone areas to be washed, rinsed and dried thoroughly, especially in areas where skin meets skin. Check people with incontinence at least every 2 hours and keep their skin, clothing and linens clean and dry. Have the person wear moisture-absorbing clothes made from natural fabrics such as cotton. Prevent poor circulation by elevating the person's arms and legs. Provide gentle massage. Observe the person's skin frequently and report any changes to the nurse. If the person is able, assist the person with transferring out of bed and walking. Note: a well-balanced diet, adequate amount of water intake and too early change of position will help in prevention of skin damage. Among bed-bound patients, 2.9.2 detecting and reporting unusual findings. In case any damage to the skin is noticed, report to the nursing officer on duty and the physician so that steps may be taken as early as possible to prevent further damage. 2.9.3 Perform back rub after bathing and at bed. Time to stimulate circulation and relieve stress. Patients who are prone to develop bed sores must be provided a back rub after bed bath and every 2 hourly. Back massage also helps in relieving stress and enhancing comfort. It also stimulates blood circulation, helps in rest and sleep, helps in preventing bed sores, relaxes muscles, and relieve fatigue. There are many ways to provide a stress-relieving back massages. Back massages can be given in different positions like sitting position, side lying position and prone position, face down. 1. Take some oil in cupped hands and rub together to bring into room temperature. 2. Stroke with both hands from buttocks towards shoulders and back. Again to buttocks. 3. Repeat the same step for 8 to 10 times. 4. Cover the shoulder and neck area. 5. Back rub can be given using palm circles. 6. Place one hand on other hand, arms extended, moving up and down. Covering neck and shoulder is another way of doing. 2.9.4 Apply lotion to dry skin. Put the lotion bottle into the basin. This will warm the lotion before you use it. Ask or help the person to roll on his side so you can wash the back. The person should not be too close to the edge of the bed to avoid a fall. 2.10 Summary. Cleansing the entire body of a dependent patient who does not have physical and/or mental ability to bathe by himself is called a bed bath. There are different types of bath, but ability of the person is considered. The type of bath. Intact skin being the first line of defense for the body. Against injury and diseases, it is necessary to keep the skin clean. Bed bathing should be considered as a teamwork in which patient has the captain's role. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.